Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Hope your Thanksgiving is going well. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a rebirths system, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is creating the leader stats. So what I'm going to do is go into the server script service and insert a new script. I'm going to name that leader stats, and we can start coding. So I'm going to get two services, the players service. Let's get service players, and let's get the data store service. Just gonna be game get service data store service, just like that. After that, let's create a new data store. So local stats data store is equal to data store service get data store, and I'm just gonna name it player stats 1. Just like that. After that, let's set up our hook. So players.playerAdded::connect, and let's create a new function for this. So local function on player join. This will take in a player as a player. And let's do on player join, just like that. Awesome. Now let's create our leader stats folder. So local leader stats instance.new folder. We'll put this in the player. And let's give this folder a name, so leader stats, just like that. We're going to say local clicks is equal to instance.new int value. We'll put this in the leader stats. Clicks.name is equal to clicks. Clicks.value is equal to 0, just like that. Now I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to make one for gems. So gems, 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 and gems. So the clicks will be what the player needs to use to buy the rebirths, and the gems will be what the player gets from rebirthing. And of course, other than the gems, they'll also get one rebirth. So local rebirths is instance.new int value. We'll put this inside of the leader stats. Rebirths.name is equal to rebirths. Rebirths.value is equal to 0, just like that. Now let's make the data saving. So actually, before I forget, let's just go to home, game settings, and make sure to check the top two boxes to enable data stores. Hit save, and that should be that. Awesome. So back to the code. What I'm going to do is say local success saved data is equal to pcall function, and I'll say return stats data store get async player.userid, just like that. And if we have success and the saved data, I'm just going to set the clicks.value to the saved data.clicks. We'll create a data table for this below, so don't worry if you don't know what's going on here. So saved data.clicks or 0. We'll set gems.value to saved data.gems or 0, and rebirths.value saved data.rebirths or 0, just like that. Else, if we don't have this, I'll just, same thing, clicks.values equal to 0, gems.values equal to 0, and rebirths.values equal to 0, just like that. Awesome. Now that we have done that, what I'm going to do is create our onPlayer leave. So players.player removing :connect, and let's create a new function. Logo function on player leave. We'll take it a player as a player and pass through on player leave. And what I'm going to do in this function is get the leader stats. So local leader stats player find first child leader stats. And if we have leader stats, then let's get the clicks, which is going to be leader stats find first child clicks. And let me do that again for the gems and the rebirths, changing the variable names here as well. Now that we have done that, if we have the clicks and the gems and the rebirths, we're going to make a new pcall, and we will do stats data store. We will set async player.userid, and let's pass through a new data table. Clicks is equal to clicks.value, gems is equal to gems.value, and rebirths is equal to rebirths.value, just like that. So this is the data table that I was talking about right here. And you know, the clicks, gems, and rebirths, that's what we're calling up here. So if we actually have saved data and this was a success, what we'll do is get the clicks from this data table that we're getting when the player leaves. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is just test out this data store. So let me hit play. We have everything, and let me give myself 5 clicks. We have 5 clicks. Let me leave the game, rejoin, and that I have 5 clicks. Awesome. Now we are done with the leader stats. Alright, so now what we're going to do is create the GUI. So first I'm actually going to create the click GUI so we can actually give ourselves some clicks. So this is going to be fast because this is not like as relevant. So what I'm going to do is insert a screen GUI. Let's name it click or just click, sorry. Ignore GUI inset on, reset on spawn to false, and z-index behavior to global. What I'm going to do is insert a text button into here. Let's name this click button. Just click. What I'm going to do is set the size to 0.077, 0, 0.139, 0. And I'm going to set the anchor point to 0.5, 0, and set the position to 0.5, 0, 0.842, 0. So this will keep it centered on the x-axis. After that, what I'm going to do is insert a UI corner, and I'll make this completely round. Oh, sorry, put it inside of the button. Awesome, so that is great. What I'm going to do is delete the text from here and insert an image label. Now for the image label, I'm going to set the position to 0.5, 0.5, center it, and I'll give the size to 0.8 on both the X and the Y. And then what I'm going to do is pick out an image for this. So let me go with click and actually mouse maybe. Alright, I like this one. So let me use that. Once you get your image, make sure scale type is fit, so it is not stretching out. And background transparency to 1. And actually, this is a little too big, so I'm going to set the size to 0.7 on both the X and the Y. That's a lot better. And just for cosmetic, I'm just going to change the color to a nice bluish color, just like that. Awesome. Now that we are done with that, let us start coding the click button. So what I'm going to do is insert a local script inside of the player scripts. I name this click, and let's start coding. So we need the replicated storage and the player's service. I'm going to get remotes, and we need to actually create that folder. So inside of replicated storage, let's insert a new folder, name it remotes, and inside of here, let's make a new remote event called click, just like that. So now that we created that, in the script, let's say local remotes is equal to replicate storage.remotes, and let's get the player. So players.local player, and the player GUI is going to be the player.player GUI. The GUI that we need is going to be the click GUI that we just made, and the local click btn is equal to GUI.click btn, or we named it click button, so let's do that. Click btn.mouse button 1 click connect function. All we're going to do is just fire this click event passing through 0 arguments. Awesome. So now that we have done that, we actually need to code this on the server. So I'm going to insert a new script inside a server script service. Name it click, just like that. Now for the server, what I'm going to do is get the replicated storage. Actually, what I'm going to do is just copy that, and we don't need the players. So we got the replicated storage, the remotes. What I'm going to do is say remotes.click on server event connect, and let's create a new local function for this. Local function click, this will take in a player as a player, and I will pass through the click function just like that. What I'm gonna do is set the let's do local clicks, or actually, you know what, just to make it simple for now, let's just do player.leaderstats plus equal to, and then I'm just going to put 1 for now. And then after that, what I'm going to do is fire this back to the client. We will do something with this soon. So what I'm going to do is save the game, and hopefully every time we click, we get a click. Awesome. So that is working perfectly. Alright, so now that we created the click GUI, now we're actually going to do the rebirth GUI. So this rebirth GUI is quite a bit complicated, so follow along with me. But what I'm going to do first is create a new screen GUI. So inside started GUI, new screen GUI, I'm going to name this rebirth. Ignore GUI inset on, reset on spawn false, that's our usual, z-index behavior to global. What I'm going to do is insert a frame inside of here. I'm just going to keep it named as frame. Let's center this, so 0.5, 0.5 on the position and 0.5, 0.5 on the anchor point. And I'm going to set the size to 0.532, 0, 0.469, 0. I found this to be a good width and height. Inside of here, I'm just going to add in the cosmetic UI stroke and the UI corner. For the UI corner, let's make the scale, so 0.05, 0. Looks good, actually 0.025 maybe. I like that. UI stroke, apply stroke mode, make sure that's border. And I'm going to set the thickness to maybe even 5. No, 5 is too much. I like 4. Once we have done that, what I'm going to do is insert a new text label inside of here. Let's rename that to title. Let's set the size to 0.301, 0, 0.112, 0. And on the X for the position, let's center that, so 0.5 and 0.5, just like that. I'm going to change the font to a Fredoka 1 and name this Rebirths, because that's the name of the GUI we're making. Awesome. So once we have done that, what I'm going to do is duplicate this title text label, and I'm going to rename it to subtitle. What I'm going to do is change the text to get boosted clicks per rebirth, just like that. I don't like it with 2 lines, so what I'm going to do is increase the size to 0.75, 0, 0.112, 0. Let's move this down a bit. So on the Y, we'll still keep 0.5, 0, and then for the other one, we'll do 0.132. I like that. And just to make this pop a little more, I'm going to set the text color to not a perfect yellow, more like an orange. And I like that, so I'm going to keep that. Actually, I want it a little more yellow. So let me try this. And yeah, I actually like this, so I'm going to keep that. What I'm going to do is duplicate the UI stroke that we have on this GUI and put it inside the subtitle. Make sure apply stroke mode is contextual. I'm going to set the thickness to 2.5, and to get rid of some of these ugly gaps, set the line join mode to bevel, and that should fix it. Awesome. So now that we have that, what we're going to do is create our first major frame. Actually, on second thought, what I'll do is just create the exit button first, because the exit button is very simple. But yeah, so what I'm going to do, let's just insert a text button into here. We're going to name this exit. We're going to set the size to 0.053, 0, 0.106, 0. So it's like almost a square. We'll set the position to 0.961, 0, 0.026, 0. And I think the reason it's sticking out is because we should set the anchor point to 0.5. So that looks nice. I'm going to copy the UI corner and paste inside the exit. Make it 1, 0, so it's a full circle. And what I'm going to do is make this red. So a pleasant red, I think we can do 255, 25, 29. And what I'll do is set the font face to Fredoka, make it an X. The X, I'm going to make it white. And lastly, I'm just going to add a UI stroke in there, keep it border, and I think, I'm just going to keep it like that. Awesome. So now that we've created the exit button, now let's go on to our main frames. So the first frame that we're going to make is the clicks frame. So let me insert a new frame inside of the frame that we already have. I'm going to name this clicks frame, just like that. I'm going to set the position to 0.5, 0, 0.271, 0, and make the anchor point 0.5, 0. For the size, what I'm going to do is set it to 0.789, 0, 0.167, 0. So a nice rectangle there. I will set I'll just keep the background transparency so you guys can see what's going on here. But once we have something like that, what we're going to do is inside of it, we're going to add in a UI list layout and a frame. So this frame, what we'll do is name it before. That's what I'm going to name it. And for the size, we'll set it to 0.246, 0, 0.648, 0. So it should be that rectangular shape. What I'm going to do is insert a UI corner and a UI stroke into it. So I think that's nice. I'm going to set the thickness to 3.5, just lower it just a little bit. After that, let's insert first what we're going to do, let's change the background color. I'm going to make it that exact same color as our text. Let's insert a text label into here. I'm going to name this number. And for the position, let's go 0.636, 0, 0.5, 0. And I think, do we anchor this on both X and Y? I think we do. Yeah. So once we do that, let's change the size because it looks very offsetting right now. So for the size, we'll do 0.589, 0, 0.842, 0. So that is nice. Background transparency to 1. I'm going to change this to Fredoka. I'm going to set the text to 999.99m, just a big number so we can see how it looks. Let's make the text color white. And I'm just going to copy and paste the UI stroke into there. Make it contextual, thickness 2.5, and line join mode will be bevel, just like that. So that looks really nice. What I'm going to do after that is insert a image label. So what I'm actually going to do, instead of inserting one, I'm just going to copy the image label that we had in the click, paste it in here. For the position, instead of 0.5 on the X, what I'm going to do is set it to 0.173. And then I'm going to, oh, that did not work, 0.173. And the size for the X, we're going to change that to 0.208. And that is perfect. So that should be the before all complete. Let's change some settings in the UI list layout. So what I'm going to do is set the horizontal alignment to center and the vertical alignment to center, and that should be all the changes we should make for now. What I'm going to do is duplicate the before. Oh yeah, I just realized, make sure fill direction is horizontal. What I'm going to do is name the one on the right, so this one, to after. And inside of the after, actually we're not going to change a single thing, we're going to keep it the exact same way. And then after that, what I'm going to do is add in an image label. Now this actually depends, you can either add a text label or an image label. This is going to be like an arrow that points from here to there. So let me just put in the image so I can show you how this is going to look. So I'm going to import my image, set the scale type to fit, background transparency to 1. And what I'm going to do, so for whatever image label or text label you're doing here, set the size to 0.057, 0, 0.557, 0, so it's smaller. And right now this looks goofy, of course, so we need to change the layout orders. So for the before, I'm going to keep it at 0. For the image label, I'm going to say 1. And for the after, I'm going to set 2. So this is how it's going to look. So this is going to be before, so this is the amount of clicks you'll have right now, and then it's going to say after you rebirth, you're going to have 0 clicks. So that's kind of how we are setting that up here. Now, of course, there's like 0 padding, so let me change the padding to 0.075, 0. And I think this looks really, really nice. So if you don't have like an arrow like image, you can just put like a text label, you know, with like the right arrow. Or I guess, you know, you can just use this image label right here. Awesome. So now that we have done that, what I'm going to do is duplicate this frame and name it boost frame. And what I'm going to do is we'll keep everything the same. We're just going to change the position. So 0.271, we'll set it to 442. So that moved it down a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the background color of the before and after. I'm going to change it to a nice green, just like that. And I'm just going to change the image. So I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to change the image to something of a boost or an upgrade, I think. Yeah. So an upgrade icon, just like that. So if you don't have like an image, I guess you can use that. But yeah. So once we create the boost and the clicks frame, let's set the background transparency to 1. And already this is looking really professional and really nice, but we are not done. There is a little more that we need to do. So after this, inside the main frame, let's insert another frame. This is going to be called progress. And what I'm going to do is set the position to 0.5, 0, 0.673, 0. And of course, position it and anchor it on the x-axis to 0.5. And for the size, we'll set it to 0.863, 0, 0.117, 0. So it is long like that. What I'm going to do is change this to a more of a dark yellow, almost like a brownish, orangish, yellowish color. But once we have this, I'm going to insert a UI corner into this. And I'm just going to set the corner radius to 1, 0. So this will create it as curved as it possibly can. Let's duplicate the progress frame, put it inside of itself, and I'm going to name this to progress bar. Now what I'm going to do for this one is set the background color to this yellow that we have. And the size is a little wonky right now, so I'm going to set it to 0.118, 0, 1, 0. And for the size, I'm just going to set 0, or for the position, sorry, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0 for the anchor point, just like that. And the final thing is for the progress, I'm going to turn on clips descendant. So if this progress bar were to ever go past, which we will code it to not happen, you see how it just does not show anymore. Where if I had this off, or if I had it off, yeah, it would show. So just to be on the safe side, we're turning on clips descendants. It's a great habit to form, to make sure to always have the clip descendants for any progress bar or something like that. But yeah, once we have done that, what I'm going to do is insert a text label. Now, instead of inserting one, I'm just going to duplicate the title, put it inside of the progress bar. I'm going to name this amount. For the size, let's go 0.8 on the X and the Y. For the position, we will center it on the X and the Y. And let's set background transparency to 1. And what I'm going to do is let's make this white, the text white, and I'm just going to say 15 out of 100 clicks, just like that. And I'm going to duplicate US stroke, put it in here, set it to contextual, line join or bevel, and I'll set it to 2.5, like that. Now the final thing that I'm going to add, this is just stylistic. No need to add this part. But what I'm going to do is duplicate the image label from here, paste it inside of the progress. And what I'm going to do is for the properties, set the size to 0.092, 0, 1.462, 0, just like that. And then I'm going to set the position property to 0.979, 0, 0.5, 0. And actually, I just realized that we may need to turn clip descendants off again, so we have this style here. Now if you don't want an image here like what I have, you can just keep clip descendants on, but I need it off because I need this image label to show. If I had it on, we would get something wonky like this, which does not really look good. But yeah, so once we have that image label, the final thing that we're gonna do is add in the rebirth button. Now what I'm gonna do, it's a little cheeky, but what I'm going to do is just go inside of the boost frame, take this after, I'm going to copy it, put it inside of the actual frame, just like that. And what I'm going to do is I have a plugin called reclass, and I'm just going to convert this from a frame to a text button. So it keeps all the same properties, but just converts into a text button. But of course, we need to remove the text. So now this is an actual button, but we need to change it up a bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is rename this to Rebirth BTN. I'm going to set the size to 0.225, 0, 0.125, 0. For the position, we'll do 0.5, 0, 0.838, 0. And I did not even type that in. So 0.5, 0, 0.838, 0. And of course, center that. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do is inside the rebirth button, for the number, instead of it, actually we don't need to rename it, but what I'm going to do is set the text to rebirth, and I'm going to change the image to a rebirth button that I have. Rebirth. I'm just going to get that, and this already looks awesome. And yeah, that should be it. The last thing that we need to do, which is not even in this frame, I'm just going to copy rebirth button, paste it inside the screen GUI. I'm going to keep this as rebirth button, or actually let's rename this to open BTN. For the size, we'll go 0.132, 0, 066, 0. For the position, we'll go 0.014, 0, 0.5, 0. And let's just switch the anchor point to 0, 0.5, or 0, 0.5. Just like that, and I'll just keep the same properties. But yeah, that is our entire UI complete. Alright, so now that we finished the UI, now we're actually going to get coding. So what I'm going to do, as in most of my videos, is create a config. So I'm going to create a new folder, name this config, and what I'm going to do is insert a new module script inside of here, and I'm going to name this rebirths, and we can change the module to rebirths and rebirths. Now instead of adding something in the table, what I'm going to do is create a new value. So rebirths.%boost is equal to 50. So what this is that for every single rebirth, the player will get 50% more clicks every single time. So you can change this to any number you want. I'm just going to keep it at 50% more every time. Now I'm going to say rebirths.minimum price is going to be 10. So this is how much clicks it's going to cost to do the first rebirth. Of course, if you're doing an actual game, 10 would not make any sense. I would do somewhere like 800 maybe, but just for testing, I'm going to set to 10. And finally, we're going to say rebirths dot price increase multiplier, and I'm going to set this to 1.5. So this is the multiplier for the rebirth price scaling. So if the base price is 10, for the next rebirth it's going to cost 15. For the one after that, it's going to cost 21.5, just like that. Of course, I would recommend you changing these values up. These are just some testing values that I have. But yeah, after that, let's just create the functions that we need right here. So what I'm going to do is create a new function called rebirths.getRebirth, passed to the player as a player. And I'm just gonna say return player.leaderstats.rebirths.value or 0, just like that. So this is the function we'll use to get the player's rebirths instead of getting it directly from the client. I'm just gonna copy, paste this instead of get rebirth, get clicks, and get clicks, and instead of rebirths here, we'll do clicks. And now let's actually start creating our real functions. So first function we'll create is rebirths.get next rebirth price. This will take a player as a player. What I'm going to do is say local rebirths is equal to rebirths.get rebirth, pass through the player. And we're going to say local price is going to be rebirths.minimum price multiplied by, and then rebirths.increase or price increase multiplier times rebirths. So this will get us the price of the next rebirth, and let's just return the price just like that. Next, let's create another function. It's going to be function rebirths.get current boost, and it's going to be player as a player. What I'm going to do is say local rebirths is equal to rebirths get rebirth, pass to the player, and local boost is equal to 100 plus rebirths times rebirths.percent boost, just like that. So what this is that starting off, the player will have a 100% boost, which is pretty much no boost because every time they click, they only get 100% of the clicks. But when they rebirth, so the percent boost is 1.5, 1 rebirth, so that will make it 1 rebirth times 1, so 1.5, and so the boost will be 101.5, but then we will change that to be like 150%. After that, we'll say return boost, just like that, and then the final function we'll make is going to be get next boost percent. This will take in a player as a player. Let's get the rebirth again, so local rebirths get rebirth, pass through the player, and local next boost is going to be 100 plus, and then rebirths plus 1 times rebirths dot percent boost, just like that. So this one's getting the current one, this one will get the next one using the plus 1, just like that. Awesome. So now that we're done with this, what we're going to do is move to the client. So I'm actually going to close this script and close every other script that we've made. And let's go into starter player scripts. I'm just going to duplicate the click script. Let's name it rebirth and open up the script. Now in this script, we actually need a couple of things. The first thing that we need to get is our new rebirths module. So require replicate storage.config.rebirths. We can keep remotes, the player is fine. Instead of click, of course, we're using the rebirth and the frame. Actually, let's just delete everything from down here. We'll say local frame is GUI.frame. We'll get the clicks frame. So local clicks frame is frame.clicksFrame. Local boost frame is equal to frame.boostFrame. And what I'm going to do is just keep this open here so you can see what is going on. So we just got the clicks in the boost frame. We will say local progress, we go to frame.progress, the progress bar that we made there, and local rebirth btn is equal to GUI.rebirth btn, and local exit is equal to frame.exit, just like that. And actually, this is not rebirth btn, we named this open btn, so I'm just going to say open btn, just like that. Awesome. So now that we have done that, what we're going to do is create a new function, setup GUI, and I'm just going to call it right there. So the first function that I'm going to create is going to be called update progress bar, just like that. What we're going to do for this is every time the player clicks and they're getting closer and closer to the goal, the progress bar will update. So we're going to say local current clicks player.leaderstats.clicks.value, and instead of that, actually, what we can do is use our rebirths.get clicks, pass through the player. What it'll say is local needed clicks is rebirths.get next rebirth price, pass through the player. Local progress is equal to math.clamp current clicks divided by needed clicks, and we'll pass through 0 and 1 for the min and max. Progress bar progress bar dot size, so udim2.new progress and 0 1 0 to change the scale, and we'll say progress.amount.text, which is this right here. We will say string.format, and then we will say %d/%d clicks, and we will change each of them to math.floor current clicks and math.floor needed clicks, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is say if the current clicks ever gets bigger than the needed clicks, then we're just going to set the progress.progress.bar.size to always just be the biggest height, the biggest size, just like that. Because if the player keeps clicking, you know, that bar will just keep on it will keep moving. So to make sure that doesn't happen, we're just going to manually set the size to max. Let me say udim2.new. And then we'll say progress.amount.text is equal to ready to rebirth. So when they're ready to rebirth, it will just say that. Awesome. So now that we've done that, what I'm going to do is just call update progress bar right there. And once we do that, let's create another function. So I'm going to do local function update clicks. We'll say local current clicks is equal to rebirths.get clicks, pass through the player, clicks frame, and clicks frame dot before dot number dot text. So we are talking about this right here. So clicks frame before number, that's going to be that. What we'll do is set the text to toString math.floor and current clicks, and then we'll say clicks frame dot after dot number dot text is equal to 0. So this is, you know, every time they rebirth, this is always going to go to 0, so we're just going to hard code that to say 0 all the time. Once we do that, I'm just going to copy and paste this. So update clicks, let's do update boost. What we'll do is say current boost is rebirths.get current boost, pass through the player, and we need to get the next boost. So get next boost %, pass through the player, and what I'm going to do is say boost frame dot before dot number dot text is equal to string dot format. And then this one, we are going to say %d%%, and then we will do math.floor current boost. I'm going to duplicate that, and then boost frame.after, and we will set that to next boost, just like that. Once we've done that, let's call that here. So update clicks and update boost. And now we actually need to connect this to a couple of events. So remotes.click.onClient event, :connect, and we'll pass through its setup GUI. Now, if you remember, we actually, every time they click, we fire this back, and we're just picking that up right here. So after that, I'm going to say remotes, and actually we need to make a new remote. So inside remotes, new remote, name it rebirth. And what I'm going to do is say remotes.rebirth onClient event, :connect, we'll set up the GUI again. Frame.rebirthbtn.mouse button one click, :connect function, remotes.rebirth fire server. So every time they click this button, you know, we want to fire the server, check if they can rebirth, and if they can, give them the rebirth. And now the two final ones we'll do. Exit.mouse button one click, :connect function. Frame.visible, it's just going to be false, and we'll say open btn mouse button one click, :connect function. Frame.visible equals true, and we'll set up the GUI just like that. So this is actually in a testable phase. So what I'm going to do is save this, play the game, and we have a little error. Okay, so number expected got nil. Invalid argument number 124. So it turns out that the next boost is not working as expected. So let me just print out next boost. If it prints out nil, that means we did something wrong in the function. And yeah, so we did something wrong in the function. That is not to worry. Let's debug this together. So let me go to this function here, and yes, we didn't even return anything. So let's return the next boost here. And now let me save this game and play it. And there you go. So this is working perfectly. So we have 20 to 0, 100 to 150. That's going to be the new boost, which is awesome. So now, of course, nothing is happening when we hit rebirth because we need to do something in the server. So let's do that. So in the server, it's really, really simple. What I'm going to do is create a new server script. And I'm going to name this Rebirth. Just like that. Let's get the replicated storage. Actually, let me just copy these two right there. So we got the rebirths and the remotes. Let's set up our hook. Remotes.rebirth on server event colon connect. Let's create a new anonymous function. Local function rebirth. We'll pass through get the player, which is a player, and we'll just pass that here, just like that. Now, what we need to do is say local clicks is player.leaderstats.clicks.value. Local needed clicks is rebirths.get. Oops, let's do rebirths. Get next rebirth price, pass through the player. And now if the clicks is greater than or equal to needed clicks, so we can afford it, we're going to set the player.leaderstats.rebirths.value plus equal to 1. Player.leaderstats.clicks.value will be 0. Player.leaderstats.gems.value plus equal to 10. So we'll award the player 10 gems. And we will fire this back. So remotes.rebirths fire client pass through the player, just like that. And that's it, you guys. That is the rebirth system done. Let's actually test everything out. So what I'm going to do is actually close this, open it up, close, open it up. That's working. So let me keep clicking. It's ready to rebirth. Let me hit rebirth. Awesome. So now we need 15 clicks, 150% to 200. So let me keep clicking away. So everything is being updated, ready to rebirth. Now we need 30 clicks. So let me keep clicking away. And I just realized that we just keep getting 1. So to fix that, what we need to do is go back to the click server, and we actually need to update this. So what I'm going to do is just get the rebirths config, copy that from our other script, and what I'm going to do is in the local function click, what we're going to say is local boost multiplier is going to be rebirths get current boost, pass through the player and divide it by 100. And then we're going to say local base clicks is equal to 1. And local boosted clicks is going to be the base clicks times the boost multiplier. So now we're actually taking into account the multiplier. And instead of adding 1, we're just going to add in the boosted clicks, just like that. So now when we save this game, we should be getting more than 1 here. Yeah, so now we're actually getting 3, which is awesome. Let's hit rebirth. This is working like a charm, which is awesome. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.